What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing the Valkyrie Hero Pack for Marvel Champions, the card game, published by Fantasy Flight Games and designed by Caleb Grace. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who's going to tell you more about the game itself.
So this is an expansion for Marvel Champions, which is a cooperative living card game that is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and above. Plays in a minimum of 45 minutes if you're unlucky or really lucky. And, it can go to 3 or 4 hours, as we've seen, unfortunately, in higher player count games.
It's probably about 45 minutes per player. I think that's the best way to classify the game. Now, what are you going to be doing in Marvel Champions, the card game? Well, you'll be facing off against enemies and trying to thwart their scheme, as you are a Marvel hero, so you really don't want them to succeed, and also trying to defeat them by dealing damage to those enemies as well. Now, in this case, we are filming the intro for Valkyrie. I will be playing Valkyrie. When we get this to the table one more time, Julie will be playing War Machine. We're going to be checking out the Hood scenario pack. We've been alternating back and forth between the characters, and this is us getting set up for our review that we're going to do after this following game for both of the characters. So what Valkyrie adds specifically to the game is you will be playing as the Shield Maiden of Asgard. She has some pretty cool defensive abilities. She also will be fighting against the villains of the Marvel Universe using her connection to death. She has this pretty cool Death Glow card, which I think I ended up putting into the deck, which will give you some special abilities once you have defeated an enemy after you've attached it to them. You can also pull it back if you decide that it's not the right character. Also, it will even enhance your abilities depending on who you're fighting, maybe even extra damage or an extra defense. So you'll be fighting like Thor with a lot of aggression, trying to defeat your foes. Did I miss anything at all, Julie?
I think you got it covered.
All right, and on that note, we're going to grab our drinks, grab our best friend.
Gotta take it to the table one more time.
One more time. Let's kick some butt. So, Julie, what did you think of the Valkyrie Hero Pack for Marvel Champions, the card game?
Disappointing. I had high hopes when you put them. We got a couple different packs that we could have played, and you put them out in front of me, and you said pick one, and I'm like, ooh, Valkyrie.
Yeah, I thought she was going to pick Nebula. No, she's like, I'm playing Valkyrie. She's an awesome character. I want to play her, and she's an awesome character in the comics and in the films, but I got to agree with Julie, not so much in this game. I really didn't enjoy her either.
Yeah, I thought maybe it's because I didn't get my cards out properly, that something, just wasn't going in my favor, but then you played her too, and it was the same thing. So I just find, like, I was trying to get cards, and they just, you really need, this is a deck that they need to come out in the right order perfectly. And if they don't, you're so ineffective.
Yes, and I just want to clarify, for those of you that are new to the channel and our reviews, we always review the decks as they come in the box. We do not review the decks after having built a custom deck. That being said, I'm not so sure how easy it would be to fix Valkyrie by doing some deck construction. Her entire character is built around boosting her base attack, and there's a very limited amount of cards that do that. There's combat training, there's her item. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other items that you could get that would increase her attack. I think maybe like Yarnborn, the weapon from one of Thor's packs. The axe could probably do it. But I really think this is a hard character to make work. And quite frankly, with her being released now, especially as we played her during the Hood, with the Hood scenario pack, and as you can see, we had her paired up with War Machine, it just doesn't compare. Like, it just feels like going way back to a character that maybe should have come out in the base box because they're very straightforward to play. But that being said, I think all the characters in the base box are better than Valkyrie. She's definitely one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, I mean, she has things that could be fun. I mean, I enjoyed, I think there's one card that allowed me to do 7 damage, but there's so many other characters that do so much more. So for me, I agree with you. At this point, releasing her now, I'm like, yeah. Honestly, what I would say is, yeah, you can pass on this one. I mean, unless she's your favorite character, then you might even be disappointed, because if she's your favorite character, she's just not to the level I think that she should be. So for me, I think, I mean, we're completionists, so it'll stay in the collection just because we're not going to get rid of this character when we have all the others. But I would say if you're looking, and considering, is this one of the expansions that I want to get, I think for me, this is a pass.
No, and I have to agree with you. If it wasn't for the fact that we were collecting the entire game, she would not be in our collection. Now, I want to just talk about some of the things that she does very well. Her healing abilities for herself in the deck are very cool. The Shield Maiden ability, where you can essentially boost your defense by 2 and defend for another character, is very strong. It can work very well in conjunction with the Death Glow ability if you place it on the main villain. And I can really see her having some utility as a very, a character that can hit hard, will struggle a lot with thwart, which is a big problem when you're playing.
I don't think she can hit hard, though.
No, let me finish what I was saying. Like, not very hard, but she, with the right upgrade, she can potentially hit hard, but also be very effective at hitting for, let's say, like 5 damage solidly every time, but also being able to defend for other characters and healing herself and being very effective in hero mode. But I see that in like a 4-player game where, maybe another character has combat training and they get it out, they can equip it on you if they so choose. They could also, if you're playing with a character that has the protection, defensive cards could increase your defense, play that on you. So if you get boosted well enough, you could have some utility, and I think it could be fun. But in a 2-player game, which is, honestly, I think probably the best way to play Marvel Champions, just due to the sheer length, she doesn't really shine. And you have to really build her a specific way, and I highly would suggest taking the pre-constructed deck and just scrapping it and rebuilding it, because you really need to focus on her attack. For example, she's got a card which is really cool, where you can use your attack as your thwart characteristic, which is great. As you can see here, her thwart is 1, so very low. But the problem with that is that it actually will exhaust her card, meaning you can't get an attack off. So whoop-de-doo, it's like using your basic attack as a thwart, and you're paying 1 of your resources to do it. So I don't know. The deck feels clunky, as Julie said. It's got to come up in a specific manner. And while there is some utility to it, I think just that the way we like to play Marvel Champions, this character is a huge miss for us, and it's not something that, not someone who's going to hit the table on a regular basis, and not something that we enjoy playing. So what is your score for Valkyrie, Julie?
You might be surprised.
Yeah.
It's a failing grade for me. It's a 5.5.
Well, 5.5 isn't necessarily failing. It's
failing in my books. Okay, where I went to school, a 60 is a pass. Okay, so it's a 5.5.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to give it a 5, actually. I'm actually going lower than you. I think that this is definitely the worst expansion we've played for Marvel Champions, the one I enjoyed the least. We weren't the biggest fans of Miss Marvel, but I still remember having more fun with her than this. I felt that her defensive cards were at least, she had a lot more utility. And I guess the fact that we're playing the Hood in this case, and her lack of thwart really showed, and it was just not fun. But yeah, when I say 5, I mean like it's passable. Like, you're not going to hate this. It's not something you should absolutely avoid. That being said, I can see this being probably the least sold expansion for Marvel Champions, because it's just meh. Not much else to say about it.
Nope. So I think it's time to remind everybody to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you. Like we alluded to, the Hood and War Machine, so you can check those out as well.
Yes, and then take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see pictures of Julie and I playing as Valkyrie, well, there'll be plenty on those feeds. Also down there's a link to multizone.ca, a great Canadian game store. Click that link, you'll get 10% off your next purchase. purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel as a portion of that purchase is returned to us. And then popping up in front of us are going to be links to some of our previously released videos. In front of Julie will be the review of the Hood Scenario Pack once we finally get it out. Until then, there'll be another Marvel Champions video. And then in front of me will be our most recent release. With that being said, we now need to grab our drinks. I was like, did she forget?
No.
Have our fellow hero. We're going to remind you to
Keep playing games.
Looking forward to something better.